Welcome to Wake Up West Palm, where we talk all things downtown West Palm Beach, and you get to meet some of the incredible people and businesses in our beautiful community. Today, we are at the Business Development Board of Palm Beach County, and I am joined by their president and CEO, Kelly Smallridge. Kelly, thank you for having us.
Thank you, Kate, for having us.
So, Kelly and I have known each other for over 20 years. Way back when I worked at the Chamber of Commerce, that's where we met when I started my career. And you became such a mentor to me. I learned so much about economic development, business, entrepreneurship, advocacy, and to watch what you've done over the past 37 years you've been here.
It's a long time.
Is incredible. And you're the longest tenured economic development president in Florida. How does that feel when you think about your whole career?
It's very rare that someone stays in any position 37 years, but it's a labor of love. I was born and raised in this county. I'm a product of the Palm Beach County public school system. So when you think about what the Business Development Board does, it really is a natural for someone that was born and raised by this village of Palm Beach County to now be leading the economic development effort. I am selling basically the area of which I grew up in, and that makes it extremely unique. Why have I stayed 37 years? Why break up a good marriage? I love economic development. I love this beautiful county, Palm Beach County, and I'm a deal junkie. I love winning projects for Palm Beach County, and as I travel up and down I-95, it brings me great joy to see Palm Beach County today versus when I was a young graduate coming out of the University of Florida, when there were very few job opportunities. And now when I travel I-95, I get to remember back in the day when IBM and Pratt Whitney, Florida Power and Light, Carrier Corporation, playing a role in each of those projects and how it impacted Palm Beach County in such a positive way. So that's why I've stayed here 37 years.
Well, clearly
it's God's work. It's definitely God's work.
Well, we're lucky to have you in this leadership role because you have done so much for Palm Beach County. For those that don't know, why don't you share the mission of the Business Development Board?
Absolutely. So the Business Development Board was created in 1982 by the Economic Council and several chambers of commerce. And those business organizations said when a CEO comes to Palm Beach County and is interested in locating or expanding their business, we really want one entity that will serve on the front line and represent Palm Beach County in a unified voice as opposed to 39 municipalities, 18 chambers of commerce. Let's just have one agency. And it's going to be an unbiased agency that represents 2,000 square miles and presents all of the assets of this area. So we compete against the world, but our primary competitors are North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, and Texas. So if a manufacturing operation comes in our doors today, they will say something like, we would like for you to identify 50,000 square feet of light industrial space for us. Tell us where we can find a workforce. Where are the schools? How do I get a permit? How do I get my product in and out of the port or in and out of the airport? And they'll ask us 20 questions. We don't send them down the road to figure out those 20 answers. We serve as a one-stop shop to package all of that up and to make it as easy as possible for Palm Beach County to be the front runner in that decision. The benefit to this county is when you have a really good base of businesses, it lessens the burden on the taxpayer for what you have to pay. It gives us more opportunity to bring in dollars to pay for parks, recreation, culture, our roads, our water, our sewer, our schools. And so it is a nice balance in creating a more sustainable economic development ecosystem as opposed to one that has been cyclical in the past. Back in the 1900s, when we started developing industry, this is a more stable economy that the Business Development Board has worked on for the past 41 years.
So what strategies do you use when you're identifying what businesses that you want to attract to come here? Or are people knocking down your door to see if this is the right fit for them?
Very good question, and it's a combination of both. I would say that no one really knocks down our door, but instead they are enlightened through marketing campaigns or strategies that put Palm Beach County out there to different pockets in the United States that we believe are high tax states. And so we're putting Palm Beach County out there, have you ever considered moving your operation here? So there is an outreach, several outreach strategies where we look at high tax states. We look at companies who have expiring leases in New York, Chicago, Boston, California, where their environments are not as business friendly as here. We travel to trade shows. We travel with the governor's Florida Commerce. We advertise in publications. We have a targeted industry cluster. So you won't find us out there trying to recruit an automobile manufacturer, because that type of manufacturing operation really is not suited for Palm Beach County. We go after aviation, aerospace, business, financial services, technology, life science and biotech, corporate headquarters, manufacturing, logistics, and distribution. So what everyone needs to know is that the economic development strategy for all of Palm Beach County, including West Palm Beach, is a very concerted effort to go after 6 industries or 7 industries based upon the foundation and assets that we have here, based upon the talent that we churn out of our educational institutions, based upon our infrastructure, based upon the fact that we have access to 3 airports and 3 ports. And so when you line up the assets of what you have in this region, in this county, it then helps you define your targeted economic development outreach strategy. And then you will always receive calls, and this is sort of our secret strategy. It's not so secret anymore, where 10 years ago we created a behind the gates outreach strategy where we were identifying executives who bought a second home in key wealth markets of Jupiter Island, Palm Beach, Manalapan, Del Rey, Boca Raton, and Wellington. And we identified 173 CEOs who bought a home in our county but did not have any business operation. And that turned into what you see behind me, which started with maybe 5 financial service firms, has now emerged into what we call Wall Street South with well over 200 firms. And it's a prime example of keeping your head down and not giving up when you don't have instant gratification, but staying true to the strategy and the mission, and then you see great things like this happen.
So over your tenure, how many businesses have you brought into the county?
Thousands and thousands. I'll say that over the last 5 years alone, the county has invested, $7 million, and we've brought in billions of dollars to Palm Beach County, and thousands of jobs. You think of every significant company that's come into this county has most likely interfaced with this organization, because why not? It's free. Our resources are free. We serve as your free consultant to help you find the workforce, train your workforce, introductions to university officials, expediting your permit. So everybody has come through the board to make sure that they have certainty in the process and that they can open their doors as quickly as possible. So we're a huge economic driver. We're not a job creator. We are a job facilitator. We're here to facilitate. And the way that we win deals over other counties in the state of Florida and other states is we provide, which is not typical at all, we provide it in a concierge manner, which is very atypical for a not-for-profit economic development board, meaning that if you need to get your children in private school, or you need to know the doctor, all the way to something far more advanced where you've got a water or environmental wetlands mitigation issue on your property, we handle this, that, and everything in between, so that you don't have to go to so many different places. You make one phone call and we bring the parties together. We are excellent at being a convener and a collaborator. This is not about the Business Development Board doing all of this alone. This is about the Business Development Board knowing how to bring in mayors, university presidents, state agencies, county agencies, chambers of commerce, so that we're all working together.
I was just going to ask you about how you collaborate with all of these organizations, because I know over the years, a lot of people have thought, well, what is the difference between the BDB and the DDA and Chambers of Commerce and the city, and what are all of these entities and how do they work together?
So there's a big difference. Look at us as the sales and marketing front line. So your elected officials, your politicians, your mayors, they are the design and engineering. if they zone for a piece of property for a 200,000 square foot build-to-suit office space, they zoned it, they created the policies to allow somebody to go vertical. It is then our role to help fill that building. If you, as an elected official, create zoning for a light industrial and you tell us that you want it to be manufacturing, then we will bring in manufacturing. So that's the political side. Chambers of Commerce are our best friends, as is the Economic Council and Career Source. They are so excellent at dealing with their particular area. The Boca Chamber deals with Boca, and the Delray Chamber deals with Delray, and so on. And we call on them when we have to dive deep into their particular area to be the concierge community orienter when we land a company there or when we have questions. But this organization has a lot of issues to handle before we dive down. The company has to first be sold on the fact that they're going to move to the Southeast United States. Then they have to be sold on moving to Florida. Then they have to be sold on South Florida. And then they have to be sold on Palm Beach County before we ever pick up the phone to deal with a city or a chamber. But the cities and chambers play big roles. We are the only agency in Palm Beach County designated by the Board of County Commissioners to serve as the official economic development board, not only by the county, but by the state as well. And that's a differentiator between us and chambers of commerce. So when the county commission has a lead or when the governor's office has a lead and they're looking at this county, they come through our board to be that one stop to answer those questions.
I can only imagine that it must feel like such a celebration when you are able to attract a big company to come down that you've been talking about. I don't even know how long it would take to actually get someone down here after you start the recruiting process. But can you share some of your, I'm sure you don't have a favorite, but like one or two of your favorite projects that.
So I have a lot of favorites, and the celebration lasts about this long, and then we're on to the next project, and you can court a project anywhere from 3 months to 3 years. And sometimes you win, and sometimes you lose. And I always say you have to go through 30 suspects to get one good prospect. So you have to field a lot of inquiries in order to get that win. I would say some of my favorites would include transformational projects that weren't just a job creator, but really changed the fabric of what Palm Beach County is today. So favorites are Carrier Corporation going to Donald Ross Road and deciding, at that time it was United Technologies, that they weren't just going to be an employer for 400 people, they were going to be a center for engineering excellence, and that it would be international in scope, attracting engineers from all over the world to work on HVAC, escalators, elevators, fire and security. So shifting from a service-oriented economy to now shifting towards engineers, knowledge, information, and technology. My second favorite would be a combination of Scripps and Max Planck, which at the time was coded Project Air Conditioning back in the then Governor Jeb Bush days. He named it Project Air Conditioning because just as air conditioning changed all of our lives as Floridians, he believed that life sciences would change our lives here in the state of Florida as well. And I think that once we worked very closely with the state, our county commissioners, and elected officials at the local level, bringing in two of the world's largest research and development institutes to be co-located on the same site with Florida Atlantic University is the first time ever in the United States, even to this day, that you have research institutes co-located with a university. Fast forward to today, that great work has evolved into now the University of Florida has taken over Scripps. So now we have the benefit of University of Florida here. And I could talk about different corporate headquarter wins like ADT and Boca Raton, and I could talk about the days that Office Depot went from 200,000 square feet to 650,000 square feet. So there are many, many proud moments. And then there are proud moments where you just are so happy that you were able to expand a local company as opposed to them picking up and leaving this state. And local company wins would be like a Pratt Whitney, an Aerojet Rocketdyne, a Lockheed or Sikorsky that had a presence here in the 1960s and chose in the 2000s to grow here in this county. And when I'm in the grocery store and someone says, "Oh, I'm so thankful that you were able to bring XYZ company to this county. My child who graduated from whatever university just got a job there," that makes me happy because I remember as a young graduate back in the late 1980s, there were no job opportunities of any size and volume here in Palm Beach County. And I think that's a motivational driver for me, is I want our children who are graduating out of universities in this county today, not to say I have to go to New York or Chicago or Boston for a job, but they say, I'm so glad that I'm here in Palm Beach County because I can get a job right down the street. So we do place a lot of emphasis on education as well.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Now, you do not do this alone, obviously. You have a team of incredible people. So do you want to introduce us to one of them?
Yes, I have a team of incredible people that have long been involved in this organization. I am most proud of our Kristen Liberman, who's the Vice President of Marketing and Media Relations. And Kate, as I mentioned earlier, and why she's such a rising star, is we spend a tremendous amount of focus on making sure that we develop the right message for Palm Beach County. Because if you recall 20-something years ago when we first met, Palm Beach County was perceived as the place that you go to retire or you go to vacation.
Yep.
Palm Beach County is not that today. Palm Beach County, thanks in large part to the way that Kristen has packaged this up, Palm Beach County is now perceived as that cool, chic, urban, cosmopolitan area that 25 to 35-year-olds want to move to. And the energy and the vibrancy that she's been able to portray through our marketing campaign has really changed the dynamics of how people on a global basis see our county, and I give her a lot of credit for that.
What
Thank you.
a fun role that you're in.
It is. It is.
You get to market Palm Beach County.
It's the best county ever. So
Right?
Yeah.
Of course it is. What do you like best about doing the marketing?
Oh gosh, our county is so diverse. There's so many different things to market. All the way out to the west, you have agriculture, we're the equestrian capital of the world. All the way up to the north, you have the life science hub. All the way down in Boca, it's the top place for corporate headquarters. We have 500. And then now we're home of the Wall Street South. So I never get bored, literally. There's so much to market.
So you've obviously led a lot of really impactful marketing campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
What is one recently that you're most proud of that's doing really well?
So I think our favorite one is Wall Street South, right? So executives in the cold winter months, they're schlepping it to their next spot in the snow. They're probably just in a terrible mood. And we put beautiful, bright blue images on these huge billboards that said Wall Street South, head to Palm Beach County. And we probably got the most it made a big buzz after that. And so we're going to continue to do that. And we're starting to brand it, and it's a whole new initiative now. That was probably our most successful.
So how do you find inspiration? And what do you, when you're looking for different marketing campaigns and kind of analyzing what's going to work, what's not, how does that process work for you?
Yeah, so I study all of the top competing locations across the nation to make sure we're top of our game with it. And also just take a look at our county. Our average age is down to 42. When I started 10 years ago, it was in the 70s, I believe. So that's inspiring enough.
In 10 years?
Yeah,
That's
it's gone
crazy.
down tremendously. And if you just step outside, if I go take a walk for a coffee, we have a whole new skyline. You know, every 6 months the skyline looks different. So that's likely my inspiration. That, along with the demographic getting younger, and like Kelly said, I just want the kids coming out of college to have high salary jobs waiting for them.
And how are you measuring the impact and success of each marketing campaign?
So all of our campaigns are highly strategic. A lot of work and thought goes into behind the scenes of it. So, you know, just because a direct mail campaign went to, let's say, an expiring lease company up in New York, right? It doesn't stop there. We have a three-pronged process after. We'll call them, we'll email them, we'll send them another brochure. They probably hear from us about 10 times. And then finally they're like, okay, let me check out Palm Beach County. So we really stay on them. And, you know, we look at the analytics, we look at the brand awareness, we look at the engagement, we look at it all. And it's a very long process. And we make sure, you know, we keep targeting the same audience, and it's very specific.
What are some of the biggest challenges that leaders and CEOs are facing in today's environment?
I'd say one of the biggest challenges that I've seen is perception of education. So up in the Northeast, a lot of companies thought that, I'd love to move to Palm Beach County, but I don't know if I can get a good education for my child. We all know you can get a fantastic education here. We have the 10th largest school district rated A with 330 choice and career programs. It's phenomenal, but it's just the perception. So over the years, we've been battling the perception, and we now have a new education website, and people are starting to learn. And we've launched some programs to kind of battle that perception, and over time, it's gotten a lot better. But during the 10 years, that was probably one of the challenges we had to overcome.
And I would add today that equal to perception of education, the cost of workforce housing, the cost. So when employers are looking at job creation, they would like to hire locally because the local person does not need to purchase a home. However, with 2% unemployment, there aren't many people here locally in Palm Beach County that are unemployed, so they have to recruit from the outside. And when they recruit from the outside and the individual comes in to buy a home, it's been something that we've been discussing for at least 3 to 5 years. And with the massive migration of New Yorkers and Northeasterners to Palm Beach County, it has driven the cost of housing up significantly.
I think about just the challenges in the workforce in general, because even when you and I first met 20 years ago, the number one challenge that I feel like these CEOs were dealing with was attracting and retaining great talent.
Right.
So talk about some of the initiatives that you have in working with the universities and
Very
schools
good
to make
question.
sure that people have great talent.
Yes, very good question. So there's a couple of things. Number one, we have an academic leaders council comprised of all of the universities, the Palm Beach County School District, to ensure that the curriculum that is coming out of our educational institutions is in alignment with the jobs that are being created here. Second, we have a large contingent of private school headmasters, 2 initiatives that Kristen also leads. So making sure that our private schools are well poised to deal with executives that are moving in, but also that their programs are in alignment with the industries that are being created. And third, I would add something new and exciting, which has been quite the buzz, and we're still in the courting stages, but Vanderbilt University is looking at establishing a second campus here, not a satellite campus, a second campus in downtown West Palm Beach. They're looking at 7 acres, 300,000 square feet, a significant capital investment, $500 million initial outlay to ramp up the campus, and then each year the operating expense will be $100 million. Once you add the prestige of Vanderbilt University to the universities and colleges that we already have, you start to be able to better address the talent pipeline issue. And our local employees will be able to go to further their knowledge by going to an MBA program at Vanderbilt or Palm Beach Atlantic. They'll be able to go to engineering courses, and Vanderbilt will also offer an innovation hub. We are welcoming of universities and educational institutions as a whole because we believe education is the currency of economic development. So when you talk about talent, you really have to make sure that your universities are understanding the direction that you're going in terms of targeted industries, so they're not producing students with degrees that are not necessarily needed here in this county.
Oh yeah, that's so true, especially when you see
Yes.
there's just a lot of there's a lot to choose from in universities on the
Right,
direction that you want to
exactly.
take.
And so we have to pump that out. Company CEOs will often say, draw a radius around the building that I want to go to, and now tell me how many graduates are available in this skill set that are going to come out of whatever universities you have in your area. And of course, the more that we can put out there and the denser that we are in that pipeline, the greater our odds are of being able to check that box and hopefully bringing it home to Palm Beach County for the win.
Yeah, attract and then keep people here. That's what
Exactly.
I love, being able to keep the businesses here. What has surprised you, Kristen, in economic development and marketing of the county over the past 10 years?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Just probably how large our county is, 39 cities and towns, and they're all unique with their own charm. Palm Beach County's landmass is bigger than the state of Rhode Island and Delaware. A lot of people don't remember that. It's huge. And, we have the second highest average salary in the state of Florida. That's so surprising that I don't think a lot of people know. And we have so many hidden gems here, like Kelly mentioned, Carrier, Aerojet. We have the top 2 research institutes in the world. We've got Florida Crystals out to the west. We have agribusiness companies feeding America. And again, just witnessing the transformation of our economy over a few decades for her, but just my small time here, we have the top 3 are life sciences, corporate headquarters, and finance today. And it's just been remarkable to watch. It really has. That's been the most surprising to me. And I just try to keep up with the times with our marketing initiatives.
How do you guys stay competitive and up to date with all the things that you could do?
We don't rest. And just because we had a great day yesterday or we had a win yesterday, that's not good enough. We have to move on to the next thing.
Kelly, she doesn't celebrate. It's never good enough.
We don't celebrate, right?
No.
We don't. Because I'm so afraid, because I feel like so much rests on our shoulders as being that front line. And yes, we have to bring everybody together. I don't ever want to be responsible for the loss. And Kristen will tell you that we're always powwowing in this office, and our discussions are already moving to the next level. We've done a great job with the help of so many people in building a Wall Street South initiative. She mentioned that we now have healthcare, financial services, and corporate headquarters leading this economy right now, which is a very different story than the traditional tourism, agriculture, and construction. So they asked us to transform and create a more stable environment. We did that with those 3 leading sectors, which are complementary. Now we're moving on to how do we take a look at future clusters, because the industries we're after may still be there, but the jobs within those industries may not be there. And if we're going to grasp artificial intelligence and cybersecurity and data analytics and autonomous vehicles, we really have to be thinking about the educational institutions that can provide that workforce and the policies that need to be created in order for us to be conducive to attracting those types of industries. So we're already thinking ahead 10 years, because that's how far ahead you have to think. Blink of an eye, it'll be here. But what we do today, just like with Wall Street South, this is not a turn on the light since COVID thing. This started a long time ago. Well, the conversations we're having today, that you will see the fruits of that labor probably 10 years. And I think that what you see today is not going to look anything like what you're going to see in 2034.
And in 10 years, you will have almost been here for 50 years.
No, I will not still be here. I'm insane, but I'm not that insane. I have wonderful leaders like Kristen and my entire bench strength that can take that on. I'm smart enough to know when it's time to say goodbye
But
and
you'll
not
be
to overdo
around.
my stay.
You'll be around.
I will always call Palm Beach County my home, but I believe that good leaders develop good bench strength.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, and one of my most favorite parts of this job is you're literally part of shaping the future of Palm Beach County's economy. How cool is that? So how cool would it be to educate these young people to know what economic development is and how important it is for their future and their children and their workforce? So that's something really important to us today.
Well, we are very lucky to have both of you, and thank you so much for your leadership over the past 37 years. And what you have done in Palm Beach County is truly, truly remarkable. And we look forward to seeing everything that you're going to be doing with this organization over the next 10, 20. You'll have to beat Kelly past the 37 years.
Oh, big shoes to fill.
We'll see. But thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Nice
it was
to
so
see
good
always.
to see you, Kristen and Kelly. Thank you so much. And thank you all for watching. And we look forward to